one moment of courage at a time. Well, another week, another, well, topic that my new co host will talk about. A new co host, Miss Jackie Pellegrin. How are you, partner?
Doing good, thanks. How are you?
Well, fabulous and excellent as well as we doing our second episode. Again, thank you so much for being my co-host and saying yes to be my co-host on Motivation 101 because our aim here to motivate people. Mhm.
Absolutely. Yes, I love that.
To motivate indeed. So, Miss Jackie, what will be our topic for today?
So today's topic, I really like this one. You picked a good one, Daniel.
Thank
Turning
you.
setbacks into fuel, how failure creates stronger people.
Well, failure. Don't are afraid to commit failure, people, because make you stronger, better in the future. Nowadays, people
Yes.
afraid to create failure. Does we create failure, Miss Jackie? Are we the one who creates failure, or failures come to us? What do you think
Oh,
in between?
yeah. Hmm. I often think that we can kind of, if the failure kind of comes to us, or we can create it sometimes, right? If we have the
Yes.
fear, indecision can create that. Procrastination. There's all kinds of actions or lack thereof that we we do that
Mm-hmm.
cause that, yeah, that failure to take place. But I agree. I think it's the culture. It's counterintuitive for people to think, oh, I don't want to fail, because it's all about being successful, right, in today's society. So yeah, so people see failure as a setback, and and things like that, but it actually can be a setup for greater things, I think. And
Yes.
yeah, yep.
it's it's a line where you breed a successful project, successful business, or
Mhm.
successful idea that give you a legacy to the world. So, Miss Jackie, how do life biggest setbacks often become the defining moments that shape a person's resilience, character, and future success?
Mm. Yeah, so I think one of the things, and I'll refer to scripture too, because I think that's what leads us to that
Yes.
motivation, right? So as they say, iron sharpens iron, right? That's a really good one. So I think what we can do is look to others in our network, or people that we know that have maybe been through something similar, where they had a setback or failure, and then they were able to overcome that, and actually it was a setup for something greater. So look to those people that maybe didn't have it easy at first, right? But then they were able to overcome that and become stronger. And then just look to scripture, because scripture is very helpful when it comes to that, and look to that as your motivation, your primary motivator. And so I think that can really help, because it's true, a setback can be a great setup in the making. So I would say to people, don't give up too soon, because your success could be on the horizon, and your what you're looking
Mm-mm.
for could be right around the corner. And if you give up too soon, then you could miss out on that. So what God is doing is he's sharpening us, right? He's allowing us to weather that storm, right? And to get stronger, get tougher in that. So that way, not only do we become stronger ourselves, but we're able to also help others as well. So I think it's a win-win all the way around. But we just have to stick out the storm. It's
Yes.
not gonna last forever. It's temporary. So there's things that I've been waiting for and praying for, and but I stay motivated through that, knowing that it's only that the setback is only temporary, or that the waiting is only temporary, and that the goodness will come. God, he knows what he's doing in his timing. His timing is always perfect. We may not see it, and we may not understand it fully, but yeah, he won't, like it says, he won't give us more than we can handle. It may seem like, yeah, that's a lot. I'm handling quite a bit here, and I don't know how much more I can handle, but yeah, I mean, what you and I have talked about off the air, with
Yes.
my situations, and It's like, wow, this is a lot to handle. But you know, we make it through. You know, like last night, I was sleeping soundly, and then all of a sudden, at 2:30 in the morning, in this place I'm staying,
Hmm.
the fire alarm goes off, and I'm like, oh my goodness, and I'm like,
What's
wow.
happening?
You know, I've done practice drills at the places I've worked at, right? Many,
Hmm.
many times, but I've never had something happen like that in the middle of the night at 2:30 in the morning. So I'm like, okay, I'm in my pajamas.
Uh-huh.
Let me get my shoes on. Let me at least get my phone and my card keys, so I can get back in my room in case it is, you know, not a real thing, but you never know. And so I get I get out to the hallway, and people are looking outside their door, but they're not doing anything. They're just, and then they go back inside, and I'm like, wait, what is going on here? I'm like, are people half asleep, or what's going on? And of
Hmm.
course, it's on the fourth floor, and I can't go down to the first floor. I'm in an ADA accommodated room, and I'm like, what am
Hmm.
I supposed to do? So I called the front desk. Nobody's answering. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on? I'm like, I was like panicking, and I'm like, okay, I got to calm down. Right. I started to panic, but I'm like, nope, got to stay calm.
Yes,
But
relax.
yeah, just relax. That's the best thing to do. So, I push the red button, nothing's happening. And I'm like, this is weird. And then another lady with her son came out, and I'm like, well, at least I'm not alone. And we just kind of stood there in front of where the stairwells were and where the elevator was. And I'm like, okay, well, if something was really happening, there would be firefighters coming up, right, to the fourth floor to
Yes.
make sure everybody's there. I didn't hear any sirens or anything like that. So I'm like, I wonder if somebody played a prank and pulled the fire alarm, just by accident or something like that. So I thought, you know
Uh-huh.
what, let me go back into my room, because my room faced like the front. It's on the fourth floor, so it
Uh-huh.
faces where
You
the
can
front
see.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was no fire truck, so I'm like, that's
It's a
weird.
prank.
Never. Yeah, so it might have been a prank, but it was scary, because all of a sudden you hear the loud sounds and the bright lights from the. Yeah, so I
From
was like,
everything, from the building.
yeah. So I'm like, oh my goodness. And then it was hard to fall back asleep, but finally I did after a bit, because it was just kind of like, it was a little frightening. I'm like, oh my
Hmm.
goodness, I've never had this happen before, at that
It's an
early in the morning.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep. But
It's an
that
experience.
fear of failure or anything like that, you just have to,
Same
you
like
know,
that. Yes.
absolutely. And know that you're
Yes.
helping other people too, and me and the other lady, we just talked to each other and stayed calm. And her son was just like, oh, I like horror movies. And I'm like, okay, you're talking about horror movies at this time. He's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay, what movies do you like? And he's like, Final Destination 4. And I'm like, oh my goodness, there's an elevator scene in there.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh my goodness. So it was kind of funny, a little bit of humor, and I'm like, that's hilarious. So it kind of got our minds off of what was going on. So,
Mhm.
yep, yeah.
Well, people, don't afraid to commit failure because, as we said, you learn from this. Life
Hmm.
biggest setbacks often become defining moments because they are the first people to confront challenges and to confront to success never could. So difficult experiences as failure, rejection, loss, financial hardship, or personal disappointment push individuals beyond their emotional limits and reveal how they respond under pressure.
Yes.
And Miss Zaki, why do some people collapse under failure while others use the same experience as a fuel to grow stronger and more determined?
Hmm. I often wonder if it's maybe their mindset, or maybe even
I
how they
think.
were. Yeah, it could be mindset, could be how they were
Mm,
raised.
yes.
If they were raised in a difficult type of situation, family wise, or they went through difficult times. Sometimes those experiences, or one traumatic experience, can kind of paralyze them in that way. So I think there can be a lot of experiences or something that can happen to them earlier in life, and then if they don't fully address that, that can make it more challenging. later on in life. And so when they do face those more of those challenging situations, that it's almost like they get paralyzed in that and they just can't move forward. So I think that happens quite a bit. I know I've had my challenging situations and how I've responded, but I've learned to do much better with that. And I learned that it's okay to get help. It's okay to get counseling. I know some people think that that's surrendering, but it's not. It's really actually coming to terms with that you can't do it on your own, right? So in order for you to
Mm.
move forward and move beyond that failure and look at it, in a healthy way, I think it's good to get that professional help when you need it. So there's no shame in that. I think it's a good thing.
No shame, definitely. And the difference often lies, as Miss Jackie talking about mindset or emotional resilience, support system, and the meaning of people attached to failure. Some individuals see failures as a proof that they are incapable, unworthy, or destined to lose, causing discouragement, fear, and hopelessness to take control. But when setbacks are viewed as, well, permanent, as a personal, people may withdraw to lose confidence to stop trying altogether. But Miss Jackie is talking about, if you interpret failures as a lesson or temporary obstacles or valuable feedback, can we help them improve and grow? We love that, to improve and grow. That's our
Yes.
aim here on Motivation 101. Aim and grow, not
Mm-hmm.
disappointed. So
Absolutely.
can so Miss Jackie, can failure reveal hidden strength, talents, or purpose that success alone could never uncover?
Oh, I think so. Yes, I think failure can reveal those strengths in us that we didn't realize we had before. Because success, things can be easier when things are going well, right? And we build up that confidence, but sometimes that can cause over reliance on those people or those things that got us where we are, right? So sometimes I think the Lord kind of knocks us down a little bit because he wants us to remain humble. He doesn't want us to be prideful, right, or boastful in our success and not uh, spread it. He wants us to do it in a way that's going to help other people. So I think going back to that, I think it's something where he's not trying to make things harder for us. I think what the Lord is trying to do is just keep us humble, keep us you know to where we can use those successes to help others, and then in turn others can help us too. So I think it all comes back around full circle, right?
Yes, it turns around and around like a circle, and failure is often reveal hidden strength, talents, and purpose. Success alone may never expose. During periods of comfort and achievement, people may never be forced to fully test their limits, question and their direction, or discover what they are truly capable of enduring. Even other successful people, ask them, they have a lot of failures in life and they learn from them. That's why they are successful.
Right.
So, how does overcoming rejection, disappointment, and personal struggle transform the way people see themselves and the world around them?
Mm.
This is interesting.
Yes. Yeah, that's interesting too. Yes, I think that can reveal those, like you said, those hidden talents, those hidden strengths that we didn't realize existed in us. And I think what it does is it builds up that resiliency for any future setbacks that we may encounter, because we know life isn't perfect, uh, and so we go through hills and valleys, right? Tornwells actually wrote this really beautiful song, and I think it helps in when times when you need that motivation, and it talks about the hills and valleys, and that the Lord is there through the hills and valleys. So I think that's a good song. I Whenever I'm feeling a little bit down and I need that motivation, I'll put on that song because it is so good, and then I start singing along to it, and before I know it, my spirits are lifted up, and I'm like, oh, this is good. now I feel motivated again. I feel like I can tackle whatever I'm facing. So, so I think it helps you to just know that it's only temporary, and that it'll help build you up a little bit more. It's like that analogy of the palm tree, right? When it's facing the storms and when it looks like it's going to break, it doesn't break, right? It actually
Yes.
is building up its strength and its roots and everything, and it's becoming stronger for the next storm and the next storm. So I think that's what we're doing when we get through one storm. We're not just getting through it, but we're actually building that resilience for when the next storm hits, because they will come. And so building up that strength and resilience can make all the difference, right?
Yes. People overcoming rejection, disappointment, and personal struggles often transform people by changing both their inner perspective and their understanding of life itself. Difficult experiences force individuals to confront pain, uncertainty, and vulnerability, which can lead to deeper self awareness and emotional growth. Oh, we love that growth, people,
Hmm.
not setbacks. We love growth, and I hope we motivate you to become more stronger and resilient in every setback that you are experiencing. So, Miss Jackie, what role does mindset play turning painful experiences into motivation, discipline, and long term growth?
Yes, I think one thing that's important is there's two types of mindsets that people can fall into. There's a fixed mindset and there's a growth mindset. So it's pretty easy to distinguish the two. So a fixed mindset is someone that says, I can't do this, or I'm not going to be able to overcome this, or I'm a failure, or something like that. So they keep saying those things to themselves, that keeps them kind of pushed down, right? And they can't
Mm-hmm.
get past that. But a growth mindset says, well, okay, I yes, I'm going through something difficult, or someone else can say that to them. I know you're going through something difficult, but you can get through this. And or they can say it to themselves. But that growth mindset shows that they're able to be able to have that more positive, and it's not just about positivity, it's about knowing that there is that growth. And so they don't think about just the failure of it, but they can move past that as well. So I would encourage people to look those two terms up a little bit and just kind of get familiar with that. And instead of if you feel like you're moving towards a fixed mindset instead of a growth mindset, then try to maybe pivot and move towards more towards that growth mindset instead. That'll help you greatly.
Definitely pivot, people. And mindset plays a critical role determining whether a painful experience becomes sources of distraction or catalysts of growth and transformation. The way a person interprets hardship often shapes their emotional response, decisions, and the future direction. Individuals with a growth oriented mindset tend to see pain, failure, rejection, and adversity as a temporary challenge that certain lessons, opportunities, and possibilities for improvement. While people here on Motivation 101, we are looking for that opportunities and possibilities for growth. So, Miss Jackie, what are the world's most successful leaders, well, entrepreneurs, athletes, and creators shaped by repeated failure before achieving greatness? What a
Mm.
good example for the good leaders.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, I can think of several, that didn't have success right off the bat, right? Right away.
Yes.
Yes, and they had to go through some setbacks before they got that success. So I think one that I know of is Tony Robbins. He's one of the most
Yes.
well-known motivational
True.
speakers, right? But he didn't have
Yes.
success right off the cuff there. It took him a while to do that. Another person I think of is Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is so successful, right? He's an actor, he's a producer, he has his own production company, he's directed as well. But if you listen to his story, he was actually on Joel Osteen's. He was at his
Yes.
church
Yes.
a few years
Yes.
ago. Yeah, and he talked about his struggles and what he went through as a younger child. And so it's very interesting to hear that, because a lot of people only hear about the successful part, but they don't hear about what actually led up to that, and that it wasn't
Yes.
easy to get there. So, Oprah Winfrey is another example of someone. She struggled her whole life with things, and even through her success, she struggled, with things. So so it just shows that even though these people are famous and even though they're successful, they're still human beings through all of it, and they go
Yes.
through ups and downs like we do. So we may not see it. It may be more, behind the scenes. It may not be out in the public eye or anything like that. But I think when people like those individuals that I mentioned, when they share that and they show those struggles, then people can relate to them better. And I think it allows, I think, people to have more empathy towards them, and to have, you know, to be able to just be able to, yeah, just understand what it's like. And they're like, oh, well, I'm not the only one that's been through this similar struggle then. So they can relate to it a little bit better, which is good.
Little bit better, yes, definitely. People, many world's most successful leaders, entrepreneurs, athletes, and creators are shaped by repeated failure because failure develops qualities that success alone rarely teaches. Greatness is often built through adversity, persistence, and ability to keep moving forward despite rejection, criticism, losers, and setbacks. Repeated failures forces individuals to adapt, improve, and refine their skills, strategies, and mindset over time. So, people, be inspired with these people. And how can setback teach emotional intelligence, patience, humility, and perseverance in ways confront or comfort the success never can?
Mm, that's a good question. I think,
Mm,
yeah, I think
indeed.
setbacks and failures yeah, it can definitely teach you more about emotional intelligence. Absolutely, because you become more aware of not only what's going on around you, but just other people as well, and that creates that greater emotional intelligence. And I think also it just allows you to be a better communicator with other people when you can relate to what maybe they're going through, and they can relate to what you're going through. So it helps you build those communication patterns better, right? So you're not so much in isolation. So through that you build that strong emotional intelligence. So I think it's a really good way to build that up and make it stronger.
A good way, definitely. Setbacks teach emotional intelligence, patience, humility, perseverance, and adversity forces people to confront emotions, limitations, and realities that comfort and easy success often hide. When individuals experience failure, rejection, disappointment, or hardship, they are challenged to manage frustration, fear, anger, and embarrassment, and uncertainty in real time. You know, Miss Jackie, my motto: if somebody is rejected me, I would say, "Oh, it's your loss. It's your loss, right?
Mhm.
It's your loss because you don't like me, or
Yeah.
something else to motivate yourself,
Right.
right? Not to have self pity with yourself, because the more you have
Absolutely.
pity, the more you discourage yourself to be better. But the more
Right.
you encourage, motivate yourself, well, it's their loss.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, because you don't want to deflate all of your motivation and your self-worth because of one person. Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like it's their loss. I agree. I like that.
It's their loss.
Yes.
Certainly. What practical habits can people develop to recover faster from the failure and transform adversity into forward momentum?
Mm, that's a good one. I think one
Yeah.
way to do that is to build that resilience is to if you find it difficult, I would say start journaling, or just have it, whether it's a reflection journal or a prayer journal, something that will help kind of keep you motivated, but also help you to reflect on those moments. Because and reflect on everything. Don't just reflect on the challenging times or the good times, but reflect on everything. Just take some time to write it down, whether you want to do it on an app or you want to actually physically write it down. Some people really like putting pen to paper, right? And it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get your ideas down or get your thoughts down. And then it helps to go back to that later and say, oh, wow, 6 months ago, that was an interesting time that I went through. And then you can have that ability to reflect back on it. And I think it helps you to build that resilience as well towards that and appreciate the times, whether they were good or bad. You have a greater appreciation for that. And it just continues to build that resilience, I think, if you can do that.
Hmm. Well said, Miss Jackie. Indeed, people after failure taking evaluate went wrong without extensive self blame. Help people learn from mistakes instead of repeating them. Honest reflection turns setbacks into valuable lesson rather than a permanent defeat. Strong emotions such as anger, fear, embarrassment, or frustration could cloud judgment. Developing like habits like journaling, as Miss Jackie talking about, exercising, praying, meditating, is simply pausing before reacting helps people regain clarity and emotional stability. And Miss Jackie, to wrap up our discussion for today, looking back years later, could be failures people once feared most actually become the experiences they are almost grateful for because those moments made them stronger, wiser, and more resilient.
Right, absolutely. I think without failure or without a setback, you don't have that appreciation for the success down the road. I think it's more shallow, and I just don't think people have that appreciation for it. But if it takes the grit, right, that true
The
grit, as
grit.
they talk about, the blood, sweat, and tears. That's another term people like to use. Blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah. If you actually have to work for it, and it's not just handed to you, but you have to work for that success and face some failures along the way, I think it helps you appreciate it more. And I think also too, like I was mentioning, with those other individuals like Tyler Perry and things like that, and those people, they've motivated others, right, to continue to move forward. And so I think it also helps others that are coming behind you to be able to face that and to come through on the other side.
Indeed. And I think this is one of our punishment from God when Adam and Eve have eaten the fruit, forbidden fruit. God said, you will have hard work to be successful. Isn't it? Right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
until now, we still have that punishment. You need to have the grit, you need to have resilience to attain successful in everything. Yes, many people eventually realize that failures they once feared most become some of the most valuable and transformative experience of their lives. In the moment, setbacks often feel painful, humiliating, unfair, or even devastating because they are disrupt plans, damage confidence, and create uncertainty about the future. But anyway, people, if you're experiencing setbacks right now, think that is your candy. It's a
That's good.
prize.
Yeah.
It's a prize to success.
Right.
Yes, don't think that is just a what? Oh, come on. This is not the way you will stop your life. Just
Right.
go for it. L- Listen to Motivation 101 and we will motivate you.
Absolutely. Right.
Miss Jackie, would you like to plug in something?
Sure. I appreciate it. Thank you. So I have, in addition to the 7 podcasts that we co-host together, I have my own podcast that I do on my own. It's called Designing with Love, and it's an educational podcast. And yeah, it's very exciting. It's I actually just started working on two other mini series that I'm going to finish out the year with. So after this one that's running right now is done, I'll have another one come out. That's 12 episodes, and then I'm going to finish out the year in the fall with a 14 episode series. So I'm kind of planning those out, and then just kind of keep myself going. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yes, definitely people to support Miss Jackie Pelgrin. Because you support her for more empowering episodes of the podcast. So please do watch us live to all social media every Saturday and Friday. We're doing our 7 podcasts together. It's crazy, but we're doing it under the Universal Podcast Network. Please do visit our official website of Universal Podcast Network. Is it www.universalpodcast.net. Please do visit us because those are the podcasts that we are doing here now and then. So Miss Jackie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for joining us, and keep learning.
Welcome, people. See you soon. People, stay tuned because Coaching 101 will come after this.
Yes.